For this video, I'll be showing how to set up Cursor with Ansible Automation Platform MCP server. Cursor is an AI-assisted integrated development environment for Windows, macOS, and Linux. We'll be publishing more videos on different AI clients and how to configure them and use them as well. If you have a particular client you would like to see, just put them in the comment section below. For more examples and use cases, check out our other video, 5 use cases with Ansible Automation Platform MCP server. Also, before I get started, everything I'm showing today will be documented in this GitHub repo, so you can follow step-by-step directions and even cut and paste my configuration files. Links will also be provided in the video description. The first thing we need to do is log into Ansible Automation Platform and create a token that we can use for MCP server. So what we're going to do is go to the access management on the left-hand menu here. We click on this, we scroll down to API tokens here on the left. I'm going to click that. And then we can create a token specifically to use for Cursor. You can tie this to an OAuth application, but you don't have to. So we can leave this blank. And then you have the idea of scope here to read or write. There is no more authentication methods here because it's tied to your actual user. So because I'm an admin, this will have admin access. So it matches whatever RBAC rules you have for that specific user. That's how I was able to demo it in the other demo where I only had access to one job template. So as soon as I create this, it's going to pump out a token. You can see it here. This is not a real token because I'm going to delete it before this video is published, but you need to cut and paste this out. In fact, there's a warning right here. This is the only time the token will be shown. That is true. As soon as I click X here, you can't get it back. And if I exit out of here and I type Cursor, I can search for it, but I can't actually get that token out. All I can do is delete it. And I will show you that I did in fact delete it. The next thing you need to do is set up the IP address and the token that we just retrieved from Ansible Automation Platform into environment variables on your machine. There's a few ways you can do this. I'm just showing you a way, but hopefully this will make sense. I'm also going to just look at the last 2 lines of my configuration. I use my ZSH. You may use a bashrc file. You may use another terminal altogether. It's just wherever on your machine you're setting up your environment variables. For the way I set up my MCP configuration, I have 2 environment variables, AAP_server. This is the IP address that's running your MCP server. In my case, everything's running on the same machine. I'm using the containerized bundled installer for Ansible Automation Platform. I just kept it really simple. This IP address may be different depending on where you're running your MCP server. The other thing I have set up is my service token. You could put the token directly in your startup file, but what I opted to do was I save it into the GitHub repo that I'm working on. This helps me keep different demos and projects kind of separated logically for myself. But then I just cat this file into my token, and this seems to work really well. But either way, I just have 2 environment variables, AAP server and my service token. Okay, now I want to show how you can configure Cursor to work with Ansible Automation Platform MCP server. I'm going to go ahead and just open a project so we have a working space in here. And what we're going to do is in the top left, you're going to click Cursor, Settings, Cursor Settings. And in here on the left-hand side, there's Tools and MCP on the left-hand menu. When I click in there, you'll see that I have installed MCP servers already. If you don't have this, because you're setting it up for the first time, you'll simply click New MCP Server. For me, I'm just going to click the Edit so you can see where it's going to take you. There will be a JSON configuration file. This is provided in our product documentation or the GitHub demo repo that I linked at the beginning of the video and in the video description. In here, you'll see that it says plural MCP servers. There's only one MCP server running, but it's serving 6 virtual MCP servers, or what we call a tool set. So in here, you'll see AAP MCP job management, inventory management, system monitoring, user management, security compliance, and MCP configuration. Now, I'm going to put this name back to a long form name. This originally in our documentation was really long like this, and I'm going to show what that error looks like in case anyone in the field hits this. And the other thing I wanted to point out was those 2 environment tokens. So the first thing is AAP server. This is taken from my ZSH startup, and this is my environment variable for my service token. So we need those 2. And the other thing to take note of here is I put type to streamable HTTP, and this is how it's communicating. So if I click X on this once I'm happy with it, and it's legitimately, I'm going to save it, you should see that any name that I change will automatically turn it on, but I can toggle these individual tool sets. Now, you see that error. is some tools have naming issues. And that's because if you make that name too long, it'll actually have a tool name length that exceeds limits within cursors, the way it communicates with the LLMs. So again, that's easy to fix. Is you saw what I had done before, is I just shortened the name. And this is updated in our product documentation, so you should not hit this, but in case you do, I wanted to just kind of document it. So I'm going to click X on there. I'm going to go ahead and trigger that and re-trigger it, loading tools, and the tools are enabled. Now, I can go ahead and enable like 3 of these. The other thing you'll notice is if I go ahead and enable all of them, I may hit another error, and that's this one, exceeding total tools limit. Certain AI clients don't have the ability to do more than a certain amount of tools. This can sometimes be a limitation in the AI client or the LLM itself, but you'll see is I have 103 tools enabled, and you'll see performance degradation as soon as you go 80 or higher. This is going to be different on different AI clients. For Cursor, the error seems to be around 80. You don't need all of these on at the same time. And the other thing you can do is you can actually go into one of these and you can toggle individual tools. So instead of toggling the whole tool, I can go into one and I can actually look at all the different tools, decide I don't need 2 or 3 of these. And then when I hide this, right, it says 12 or 8 tools. Now it should say 7. Yeah, exactly. Now, the other thing you're wondering is, how do I know that this is working? Is you can actually use the chat. So on the right-hand pane, if it's not there, you can click this little box on the top right, toggle agent sidebar. You can create a new agent. Mine is in agent mode. You can have plan, debug, ask mode, or agent mode. And then I'm running Claude Sonnet 4.5, just so you know what works. I'm sure other combinations work. This is just what I've been testing with. And here I can say, hey, what AAP MCP servers do you have working and what tools are available? And if everything's working, these are green, tools are enabled, you don't see an error, you don't see a length name error or a tool degradation, you should see what MCP servers are available. And you can see here, it's going through the different tools. And I think I have, I have 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has 5 tools and you see 5 tools. MCP resources, which I don't have configured, are read-only data sources like files, databases, contents, etc., that an MCP server exposes, whereas the 5 tools I've enabled are working correctly. There's one other gotcha I wanted to bring up just really quickly. In my demo environment, I don't have a real SSL cert, so I also had to set this node TLS reject unauthorized 0. One of my colleagues, Phil, thank you, Phil, saved me a lot of time because this was driving me nuts trying to figure out how to ignore a bad SSL cert. But if you are setting this up in a demo environment or somewhere that's not production and you want to test this out, you'll need this export node TLS reject unauthorized 0. So hopefully I saved someone the time that Phil saved me. Here's the link for that GitHub repo. It's Ansible-TMM MCP-demo. There'll be a link in the description to make it easy to click on, but for a walkthrough of everything that I showed here today, this is all inside the GitHub repo, and you should be able to just cut and paste the configuration file that I use in my own environment. Thank you for watching, and happy automating.